Okay, so here we're doing topic 9. Surface area of composite shapes. So earlier we looked at the volume of composite shapes. Now we're going to look at surface area of composite shapes. Now this does involve some thinking, but it is putting the pieces together. So when we look at this, what we have is we've got a sphere and we have the body of a cylinder. Now it's important to note with this shape here that we don't have the two circular ends of the cylinder, so we can't include those in our surface area. But we're basically just finding the surface area of all those pieces and adding them together. Now, we have our diameter, right? But we want our radius. Our radius would be 1.5 feet because it'd be half of the diameter. And we have our height of our cylinder. So let's take a look here at what the pieces are. So for the sphere, and it's a sphere because we have two hemispheres, right? That's a hemisphere, and this is a hemisphere. Together they make a whole sphere. So surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared, because it's area. So we can substitute in 4 pi, radius is 1.5 squared, and that gets us 28.2743, and it's feet, so feet squared. Now the surface area of a cylinder, well, normally it's 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh, but we don't use this because that's for the circle on the top and bottom, and those are covered up, right? So we don't need that part, so we just ignore that part. So for our surface area, it's just going to be the 2 pi rh, which is 2 times pi times radius, which is 1.5, times the height, which is 8 feet, and the surface area of this cylinder will be 75.39822 feet squared. Now we still need the total. The total, we add them together, so 28.2743 plus 75.39822. And we're going to round it to the nearest tenth. So when we add it, we'll get 103.7 feet squared. Okay? So basically it's looking at the shape, looking at that three-dimensional shape, seeing what do I have to account for. Okay? So let's look at another one. A farmer has decided to paint his tool shed. Before she buys the paint, she needs to figure out what area she has to cover. Help her out. So we need to determine the surface area to be painted to the nearest whole meters. So we have to think about all the pieces that we have. So we have this rectangle here, and we have two of them because we have one on the other side. We have this rectangle here, and we have two of them because we have one on the other side. We have this, I'm going to start over because I numbered them differently in my notes and it's going to confuse me. We have a triangle here at the front and back. We have this rectangle, and on this side we have two of them. We have this side here, we have two of them because we have one on the back, and we have this side here. Now, to find this side here for the width, we need to use our Pythagorean theorem, okay? Because we have the height of the triangle and the base, that's good, we're fine there. But for this particular rectangle, this one right here, we need both dimensions. So we have to find the hypotenuse of that triangle. So that's what we're going to do right here. So we know the height is 1. The base is going to be half of 2.5, so it'll be 1.25, and we're going to find that side right there. So W is the hypotenuse, so we're adding 1 squared plus 1.25 squared. So it will equal square root of 2.5625, which is 1.60078. We'll keep those decimals for now. Okay, now we just need to account for our pieces. So we have the area of 1, and we have 2 of them. So 2 times base times height divided by 2 equals. So the neat thing about this, let's put our numbers in. Our base is 2.5 times our height, which is 1, divided by 2. And we can divide that 2 out, not even worry about it. And we'll get for our answer 2.5 meters squared. Area of 2, we have 2 times length times width, right? Because we've got 2. These are the ones on the roof. And so that the length is 3 meters times the width, which we found, which was 1.60078, which gives us, and we times it by 2, sorry, because we've got 2 of them. So when we do that, we get 9.60468 meters squared. Okay. Then we have the area of 3. It's 2 times length times width, because it's also a rectangle. So 2 times 3 times 2, because the height is 2 there. And that will give us 12 meters squared. And then we have the area of 4. And again, it's 2 times length times width. So 2 times 4 is 2.5 by 2. And we multiply that together and we get 10 meters squared. Now we need the total. And the total, we're basically just going to add all those up. So 2.5 plus 9.60468 plus 12 plus 10. Our total is 34 point, and we're going to round it to the nearest, well, it says the nearest whole meter. So we're actually going to round it to 34 meters squared. Woo! All righty. Okay. Now it says convert the surface area to feet squared. Woo! Okay. Now it says recall 1 foot equals 0.31 meters. So 34 meters squared times 1 foot over 0.31 meters times 1 foot over 0.31 meters equals. And the reason I did that is because I need feet squared, and I need 2 meters to cancel out with those 2 meters. So when I multiply this through, I get 354.8 feet squared. Okay, that was some interesting conversion. We're going to do a whole bunch of practice with conversions next week. So that's great work for us. Now, sometimes they're more complicated and they make us really cranky, but we can do it, okay? So here we have a step-like object, and we have to think about all the pieces that we have. So we can cut this piece in half so that we get 2 rectangles, and that means that this is 4.2, right? And that means that this bottom part here is 7.5, okay? And I think that gives us all our measurements that we need, but we have to account for our pieces. So there's 1 piece, there's 2 piece, there's 3 piece, there's 4 piece, there's 5 piece, and there's 6 piece. We also have this side here, which would be 7. And we have this side here, which would be 8. That's the bottom. It's underneath, okay? Woo! So we've got all these pieces to figure out. We can do it. They're all rectangles. We just have to sort them out. So 1, the area is length times width. For 1, it's 4.2 times 9.4. And we have 2 of them, because there's one on the back as well. We multiply that, we get 78.96. For 2, same thing. Area is length times width, which is 16.8 times 7.5. And again, there are 2 of them because there's one on the back. And that will get us 252. For size 3, we have area is length times width. We only have one of these, so it's 6.6 times 7.5, which is 49.5. For 4, area is length times width. We only have one of these, so it's 7.4 times 6.6, which is 48.84. Whew. 5, area is length times width. We only have one of these, 4.2 times 6.6. We multiply those and we get 27.72. Piece 6, that's that top piece, area is length times width. And we multiply those through and we get, what do we get for 6? It is 9.4 times 6.6, which gives us 62.04. And then 7. 7 is length times width. So it's 6.6 times 11.7, which is 77.22. And then we just have one more, right? 8. Area is length times width. This is the bottom. It's 16.8 times 6.6, which equals 110.88. Now we're going to add all those up, and that gives us our total surface area, 707.2 centimeters squared. Oh, wow. Okay. So it's really about breaking it down and figuring out all those shapes, right? And making sure that you're not missing pieces when you're doing them, okay? So here I'm going to get you started, and I'm going to tell you the answer, and you're going to check it. So here for your surface area, it would be the surface area of the cylinder plus the surface area of the hemi. So let's think about it. With the surface area of the cylinder, it's normally 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh, but you only have one side, so we don't multiply it by 2, right? And then for the surface area of the hemisphere, it is normally 4 pi r squared, but you only have half of it, so you divide that by 2. Now you have your formula to solve. You've got your radius and you've got your height, so you can fill those in. I'm going to use lowercase because that's more correct. Your radius and your height. Fill it in. You should get for your answer 88 feet squared. So try that out and substitute in, and you should get that for your answer. Okay? Next one, again, we're keeping track of all of the pieces, and it's a matter of sorting it out. This is a cube with a roof, So surface area of the cube is going to equal 5 side squared. Why is it 5? Because we don't have a top. Normally it's 6, right? So it's only 5, no top. Okay, we know our side, so we can substitute that in. The surface area of the roof, it's all triangles, so they're going to be 4 times base times height over 2. And you have the slant height and you have the base, so you have this measurement, this is a 5, so you have enough to solve for that. When you do the surface area of the cube, you should get 125 meters squared. When you do the surface area of the roof and you multiply that through, you should get 40 meters squared. And your total should be 165 meters squared. Okay? When you do all those pieces, that should be what it works. Now, that surface area, it's breaking it